Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 28 of What If Kaguya Was Naruto's Mother. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune because after this I'm going to be posting a brand new episode of What If Naruto was from the two greatest clans. So stay in tune for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And over on Anime King 2, I post a new episode of What If Orochimaru Was Naruto's father. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And later on, I'm going to be posting What If Naruto's a Vampire. So stay in tune for that and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you all for helping and support guys, and yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails.
So, the last time we left off, Naruto was coming back from removing the silver balls from Hitomi, a failed assassination attempt, but Naruto felt angry. Minato has been using him recently for some simple things, but this one was a waste of his time. If those medics had any sense, they would have found the balls quickly. Naruto then sensed blood as he started to walk and investigate, as it was from the Uchiha compound. As he headed there, when he arrived, he saw bodies littered on the ground. Someone was massacring the clan. As Naruto then heard a voice behind him, he then turned around as he saw it was an intruder. As the person put him under a Tsukuyomi, as he was Itachi. Itachi told him that he is God here. But Naruto smirked as he bricked the Tsukuyomi, as that was nothing to Naruto. Itachi and him then battled, as Itachi soon realized that he was no match for this man, as Itachi was heavily weak from using the Tsukuyomi. He then used Amaterasu, but Naruto vanished as he grabbed Itachi's face and buried in the Amaterasu, as part of his face got burned badly before he cancelled it. Naruto then sensed something. It was Obito. Obito came to check up on Itachi. In a swift motion, Naruto pulled out one of the silver balls, as he added swift release chakra and thrust it forward. Obito didn't know what hit him, as he just dropped to the ground dead, as the ball clean right through his head, killing him instantly. As Naruto then knocked out Itachi, as he then headed off. The next day, after Minato went up and checked up on everything, Naruto was called to the office, as Shikaku, Inoichi and Ibiki was there, as they were questioning him. As Naruto told him everything that he saw and everything that happened, as the fake Madara was known as Obito Uchiha, as Minato told him that that was one of his students, genuine students. We then skip to Zetsu, who was beyond pissed, as now that Obito is gone, he will have to be the one taking up the role, talking to those humans, as he hated all of them. They didn't deserve chakra, none of it belongs to them. That is why he would make sure his plans are a success. We then had a time skip as Naruto was finished with the islands, as he brought Aisabu there, the three-tailed turtle, as Aisabu was happy to see Monotobe, as Naruto is now searching for the other tailed beast. But he headed back to Konoha, as the A-tail told him once his partner is dead he will come and live on the island. The other tailed beasts that Naruto rescued and brought to the island, they told him that they were being hunted down by some people in black robes with red clothes on them, but the person did not capture or seal any one of them. As Naruto wondered, is this a new group trying to take the Bijous? So yeah guys, that was basically last how we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself, so let's start this new episode. Naruto just got back as he was walking through the streets of Konoha, a familiar source of chakra. He sensed it, but he paid it no mind. they were coming towards him anyway. As he kept walking, keeping his eyes in front of him, he wondered what she would try this time. Suddenly, a figure dropped down right in front of him. Boo! As many people turned and looked, what was that? As they frowned at the sudden noise. As Naruto stepped around the person. Boo? He questioned. Really, Anko? He said. Like Minato, she realized that Naruto barely showed surprise at anything. So she wanted to scare him and get a reaction out of him. This included regular scare attempts and pranks, but none of them worked on Naruto. As Anko quickly caught up to him. So did you finish what you were doing? She asked. Yes, I did, said Naruto. In order to work on his island for a longer period of time and search the world for the few Bijus that were free, he had to make up stories about traveling for a bit. This was helped a lot, seeing that he really wanted to travel. Staying in Konoha, the same wall for years, it was getting on his nerves. This feeling was not helped by a thought that always kept on coming to him. Konan, his other living child, hasn't shown herself anywhere. It would be a long shot for him to just find her like that, but he was hoping for a miracle. Searching for her would prove fruitless, seeing that she could be anywhere. He had never memorized her chakra signature, so identifying her like that was useless. And there was also the possibility that she had dyed her hair and got surgery. That has become popular in the recent years. If he gave into the possibilities, there was some truth behind it that the blue hair and golden-eyed child will be no more. What did you do? Anko asked, snapping him from his thoughts. As he turned towards her, as she was waiting for her answer. I mean, while you were gone, what did you do? She asked. Fishing, he said in an amused tone. Anko frowned as she realized he was making a joke involving her ignorance. What? She said. As Naruto chuckled. Hey, what are you laughing at? She asked. Nothing, Naruto said. I was just remembering the turtle that I caught. Again, his lips twitched and she suppressed the urge to growl, as she didn't like being making fun of. As a thought then hit Naruto as he turned back to her. How did you find out that I was back in the village so quickly? Naruto knew that Minato had his envoys, but Anko did not. I have my ways, she said vaguely. Being a part of a torture and interrogation forces has its benefit after all. You either scared someone to tell you when I arrive or blackmail them, Naruto said. As I told you, I have my ways, she said. So tell me, Anko, seeing that you're a part of a torture and interrogation force, don't you have other things to do than escort me around the village? I'm on my lunch break, said Anko. I get quite a few of them, seeing that there is really no one to interrogate in these peaceful times. It was true. In her 3 years experience of working for the IT force, they were barely ever busy. According to Inoichi, there was not very much need. They called the occasional spy, but Ibiki, the current head of the TI force, will deal with them easily. Speaking of lunch, Anko said, do you have anything to eat? I've been out of the village for almost a week. What makes you think that I would have any edible food? Naruto said, as she merely shrugged. You should have brought some with, oh yeah, super speed. It probably only take you a second to get back, didn't it? Can you stop calling it super speed? Naruto said. Nope, that's what your chakra allows you to do. So that is what I'll call it, she said, with a smirk on her face. Then why don't you call Katon Hot Fire? He asked. That name is not cool enough, said Anko with a shrug. As Naruto only shook his head, Anko's logic was something he couldn't explain sometimes. So, now that we cleared up that super speed stuff, as Anko smiled as she noticed a tick mark on Naruto's forehead, can we get back to the interesting stuff? She said. You mean food? Said Naruto. Yes, Anko said. Since you don't have any available food, I think we should go and get some no dangos, Naruto said, cutting her off. What? No dango? But you haven't had it in ages. You're probably suffering dango deficiency or something. As Naruto shook his head, Anko was really obsessed with dango. 1. Before I left, I had it with you at an impromptu going away party. 2. It's currently lunch. Dango is a sweet to have after dinner on occasions. 3. If either one of us is meant to have some sort of dango problem, it's you, Anko. Well, 1. You can never have enough dango, Anko said. 2. Dango is a dish that is suitable for any meal. And 3. You already had dango today, Naruto cut Anko off. Haven't you? He asked. She huffed but nodded. And so then, we're going to have something different for lunch, he said. Fine, fine. Anko grumbled. So what are we going to have then? Sushi, said Naruto. What? Seaweed? She moaned, as Naruto flicked her on the ear. As Anko hissed, it was quite a painful flick, as she jumped away from Naruto for a second and stopped right into someone's path. But Naruto grabbed her and pulled her close. What was that for? She said, as she held her ear. I assumed that with all of your groaning you was a child, and I decided to punish you like one, Naruto said. Hey, it's seaweed. What kind of person eats seaweed? Excuse me for being disgusted about eating something that spent 99% of his time in fish piss, Anko said. Naruto flicked her on the ear again, caused Naruto to give another cry of annoyance. Not all sushi dishes contain seaweed, he said. But Anko simply stuck her tongue out at him, as Naruto sighed. He should be used to Anko by now. Eventually they arrived at a place where sushi was served, as Anko was giving the food a disgusted look, and the shopkeeper. In the end she purchased a few rice balls, while Naruto purchased tuna, along with salmon, sushi, and a few extra. So where are we going to eat this? Anko questioned, taking a bite out of one of her rice balls. It's a nice day outside. I think I might find a spot in the grass and eat there. After that I will attend Koji graduation from the academy. I can eat with you, right? Anko asked, as Naruto turned towards her, as he noticed a change in her posture. Perhaps it was nothing, but Naruto seemed to recognize nervousness. She hid it well, as Naruto doubted that many would be able to see it, but he wasn't one of those people. He could see it. As this has been happening recently, as he didn't know why. If you want, Naruto said, as Anko smiled slightly, but then she smirked. Naruto noticed it but said nothing, knowing that she would deny that she smiled. Time skip. Naruto was standing right next to Kushina, as the both of them waited for Koji to reach them, as he had a headband on his forehead. It was supposed to be a good day today, really ironic. A boy who is only 12 years old now has a license to kill. The next few hours seemed to just test Naruto's patience. After leaving the academy with Koji and Kushina, he had to spend the rest of the time around Kushina and her two other friends and their children. Naruto had nothing against the two women themselves, as the Uchiha woman and the Hyuga woman seemed very nice, well as their children, but he knew what the following conversations will contain. Koji and the other two children, roughly the same age as him, would now all talk about what they wish to do now that they're shinobis. They will talk about saving important people and stopping the bad guys, and the adults would humor them. But Naruto wouldn't get involved in that situation. Then there was Itachi Uchiha. He was currently standing off to the side with his mother, a dozen meters away, smiling faintly as the children were released. As he spotted his brother amongst them, he had horrible burns, a reminder of the night he murdered his own clansman. Mark the right side on his face, stretching down to his neck and pushing back his hairline. It was a miracle that he could see out of his right eye. How Minato did not lock him up really amused Naruto. In the middle of the night, Itachi succeeded while wiping out a third of the Uchiha clan, children included. The best part, the part that tickled Naruto, is that he did it to protect Konoha. The psychopath reasoning is that in order to stop a coup by his clan, a slaughter was necessary. He was intending to kill all of his clansmen and reduce his clan just to himself and his brother, sparing his brother just out of love. All because he felt like his family was wrong. In some sick sense, Naruto had to relate to that, having to kill his mother, seeing that her mind became twisted in the final days. But Naruto did not pity Itachi, or did he feel sorry for the now former shinobi. Even with all that Itachi done, Minato felt pity for him. Even though his name was mixed with murder, Itachi stood there with his mother and his brother. Despite the fact that he was currently serving a 50-year jail sentence, he was let out this day with on-foot guards just to see his brother graduate. As Minato felt guilty, as Itachi did not trust him to handle the situations with the Uchiha clan well, so he did it himself. The end result after all, it worked in Konoha's favor, with all of the elders and those who support the coup was dead, leaving mostly the civilians of the Uchiha clan who held no malice against Konoha. It was one of the reasons he wasn't hated by everyone in Konoha. The situation was known. Obito Uchiha presents were hidden, and men were actually thankful for Itachi Uchiha killing his clan before they had a chance to go through their coup. But most of them still believe killing children, he went too far. Gigi, as Naruto turned as he smiled at his grandson, Koji ran towards his mother and grandfather, the other children doing the same. "You came," Koji said as he hugged Naruto, as Naruto hugged him back. "Of course I would," Naruto said, as he then hugged his mother. Kushina then gushed about how grown up that Koji was becoming, as she then squatted down. "Me and your dad are so proud of you, Koji. We both know you will do great things," as Koji smiled hearing that, as he hugged his mother again, as Naruto smiled. "Kushina, getting a bit sentimental, are we?" asked a joking voice, as Kushina smiled as she turned away from her son as he straightened up, as she faced the source before replying. "No more than you were, Mikato," she said, as Mikato chuckled as her two children followed her, Itachi a distance away from them at least, until Mikato pulled him towards her and her other son. As Naruto saw that Mikato still loved her child, it didn't matter what he did. It was this same love, a love between a parent and child, that Naruto would bend easily to his son should he press him hard enough, as he would do anything to make Minato happy as he loved his son. But that wasn't to say that this love was unbreakable, because there had been a few times that Naruto was going to refuse to do Minato's request. She was angry on the day, and sad, and feeling guilty all over, but after the years has passed, that love is still there for her son. But that wasn't to say that the bond between them had completely healed, as Kushina had talked about how silence took long between the both of them. Sometimes the both of them would just stand there in silence, not talking. As Naruto saw people looking at Itachi from a distance, most of them rushing away with their children. "You're finally a shinobi now, Sasuke. Are you excited?" Kushina asked, as Sasuke just shrugged, but his mother swatted him on the arm as he then started talking. "Yes," he said. "He's lying," said Mikato. "He's very excited. He's been training hard these years." "Isn't that right, Sasuke?" as Sasuke just shrugged. "I'm excited too," said Koji. "I want to go out and see all the different places, then I'll come back and take Dad's hat and become the Hokage." "Hinata want to explore the world as well, don't you, Hinata?" said a voice, as they turned. "Yes," said Hinata, as she approached the group with her mother, and her younger sister, Hanabi, and her second sister, Hina. "I'm glad that we're all graduating together, Koji, Sasuke." As Koji gave a nod, but Sasuke did not respond, as his mother sighed. "It's good to see you," Hitomi, Kushina greeted, as Hitomi greeted back Kushina, and then Mikato. As Naruto looked at her young girl, Hina, that was why she was nearly assassinated. Supposedly, the Hyuga elders found Hitomi two daughters, less than fit to be the clan heirs, and upon finding out that she was pregnant again with another girl, that is what led to the failed assassination. That was what Naruto heard about, and the anger between his Hyuga descendants just started to rise even more. On the other hand, the clan head, Hayashi, was beyond angry as he banished all of them from the clan. They were all in jail for attempted harm to an unborn child and almost murder, as all of the mothers decided to head off to a place to sit and eat and talk. As Naruto sighed and steeled himself for the following couple of hours. Time skip, a good enough time has passed, as Naruto was now inside of his son's office. "What are you saying, Minato?" said Naruto as he was angry, as Kushina was there as well, pissed off. As Minato sighed, "I just got a message from a dog summon. It appears like Kakashi and his team are currently stuck in hostile territory." Naruto turned as he walked towards the door. "Stop, Dad," said Minato. "They're going to need a quiet extraction, which I don't think you're gonna do," he said. "I will assemble a team to move immediately." "And how long will it take to assemble this team, Minato? How long will it take them to get to Nami no Kuni?" "Dad, I can't send you after Koji. This is an official mission." Naruto simply slapped away Minato's hand as he started to walk forward. The part of him, the Hokage, wanted to call him back, but the father side of him wanted his son safely returned. Before Minato could say anything, Kushina spoke. "Where are you going?" said Kushina. On a holiday, said Naruto. You're going on a holiday? She said. Where? And now of all time, she asks. As Naruto opened the door, I'm going to Nami no Kuni, he said, as he shut the door and left. As Minato realized his father's anger. While it was illegal for a civilian to interfere with shinobi affairs, Konoha couldn't stop a civilian from leaving the village. And if he bumped into his grandson on his way, there was nothing wrong with that. Tora, said Minato as an envoy appeared. Get me 3 Jonin, it doesn't matter who. Get them prepared for an emergency extraction. Sometime later with Naruto, he was walking as his chakra was spread out like a blanket so he could find his grandson. As he moved through the streets in the tone of wave, he slapped away a hand from behind him. This was a third pickpocket that tried to pick him as the person quickly ran off. The neglectful state of the town spoke of a period of very hard times. Windows were broken, holes were in many houses, you could look straight inside. Many people had rags on their bodies, not even clothes. As Naruto watched a mercenary as he was walking, as a child was pickpocketing him. But the man suddenly moved as the kid was caught off balance. As he pushed down a bit hard as the man noticed him, the kid quickly grabbed the stuff as he ran into the alley as the man was looking around. As Naruto stopped paying attention as he passed the mercenary, but then he heard, "You! It was you! You stole from me!" as everyone paid attention to see what was going on. "I didn't steal anything from you," said Naruto. "Yes, you did," said the mercenary. "Now give me my money, or I'll make you regret it." "I don't have your money," said Naruto. As Naruto kept on walking, not even looking at the man. As Naruto tilted his body as a sword passed him. As Naruto turned around and smacked the man across his face, the man was sent flying as he slammed into a nearby wall, as he was knocked out cold. As Naruto went back to check, he wasn't sure if Koji was on this side of the island that make up the land of Wave. It took about an hour for Naruto to find his grandson Chakra coming from a house in the far distance of Wave, as Naruto saw a long, incompleted bridge that tried to stretch from the land of Wave to the coast of the land of Fire. As Naruto knocked on the door, as he was greeted by the sight of a young woman, as she was giving him a small smile. "Hello, can I help you?" she said, a bit nervous. "I'm looking for my grandson," Naruto told her. "I believe that he's currently staying here." As the woman just looked at him. "I know you have a team of Konoha shinobi staying here," said Naruto, as the woman became startled. "One of them is my grandson, and I would like to make sure he's okay." I don't," she said, as her face became struggled with fear at his knowledge. Naruto sighed as he pushed past the woman and entered the house. "Gigi?" Naruto heard Koji, as he stepped out from the doorway, leading to another room. As Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. "Gigi, what are you doing here?" Koji said. "I came to see if you were alright," Naruto said, moving closer to his grandson. "Kakashi only sent word about what happened a few hours ago. I decided to come here and make sure you're alright until the extraction team arrive." "Extraction team," said a voice. As Naruto turned, it was Kushina, friend, child, the younger one. "Why have they sent an extraction team after us?" asked Sasuke. "From what I know, Minato believed that this mission is not suitable for Genins." Sasuke scowled at that but said nothing in response. "So, we will be going back to Konoha?" As Naruto turned to see a pink-haired girl. As her tone made her say that she wanted to go back home. As Naruto could tell, she was the last member of their team. Behind her was an elderly man with a young boy at his side. "Wait, if we go back to Konoha, what about the mission? What about the people of Wave? We won't just leave them, will we?" "That is for your dad to decide," Naruto said. But Koji did not like that answer. But it wasn't Tazuna's fault that he lied about the mission ranking. "What?" said Naruto. "It really wasn't his fault," said Koji. What wasn't his fault, Naruto asked, as he looked at the elderly man. He had to be Tazuna. As the man paled, as Naruto turned back to Koji. "There is this dictator. He has taken all over Wave," as Naruto raised his hand for Koji to stop, as he could figure out the rest. "And let me guess, Tazuna decided to do something to break this dictator hold on Wave. And this dictator tried to kill Tazuna, so he came to Konoha. Am I close?" Naruto asked. "So tell me, what did you lie that would put 3 children into this dangerous situation?" Sasuke scowled at the remark that they were children, while Koji frowned. As Tazuna took a deep breath. I didn't have enough money, he said. Gato has drained this country completely dry. Nearly all of my saving went into construction of the bridge. The last of my money went into hiring shinobi to protect me while I complete it. And I didn't have enough money for the B rank mission that I wanted, so I settled for a C rank. And in doing so, you endanger 3 children, Naruto said, staring at Tazuna. You chose to lie instead, rather than talking to the fire daimyo or the water daimyo, who I'm sure would have been willing to free you from this dictator. But they could have asked for anything, said Tazuna. They could have demanded that we become a vassal, but Naruto cut him off, which would have been worse than your current situation. Naruto shook his head as he turned to Koji. Where is Kakashi? He asked. He's upstairs, he suffered chakra exhaustion, so he's currently resting. As Naruto thought over what to do, he then eyed Koji and his teammates. Do the 3 of you have something to do? He asked. Well, the pink-haired one said, Kakashi did give us some exercises to do. Then, go do them, Naruto said to them. As the group went off, as Naruto then turned to Tazuna. While I criticized your decision earlier, I must thank you for taking my grandson and his genin team. If you hadn't, this situation could have been much worse. As Tazuna simply nodded. It was the least I could do, said Tazuna, as he was unsure how to talk to this man who just gave him criticism and praise. That said, Naruto said as his tone rose, if you ever endanger my grandson again, I will not be pleased. As Tazuna nodded. Time skip, Naruto watched silently as Koji and his team practiced the exercises that Kakashi had given them. The trio were attempting to walk up trees while using their chakra to stick to it. As it was a pinkier one, Chakra, who was the fastest to get up the trees. She had the smaller reserve and she had more control over it. But in return, she couldn't do it for long, seeing that she would run out of chakra quickly. As Naruto felt someone coming up beside him, as he already knew it was Kakashi. I didn't think that Minato would send you, said Kakashi, as he stopped beside Naruto. He didn't, said Naruto. I am on holiday. Kakashi turned as he looked at Naruto. And you decided to spend your vacation at Nami no Kuni. No one is going to believe that excuse, he said. I decided that I like this era, Naruto said, still looking at the kids. Though that may change once Koji leave. You play a dangerous game, Naruto. From what I know, there's a couple member on the Shinobi Council that doesn't like you. And they wouldn't appreciate a civilian as skilled as yourself to interfere with something they consider Shinobi affairs. Naruto turned to Kakashi. I have enemies on the Shinobi Council? When did that happen? He asked. As Kakashi raised an eyebrow. You don't remember insulting Tatsumi Inuzaka, the head of the Inuzaka clan? He asked. The mention of that name did bring a picture to his mind, a woman that looked somewhat like a dog that he could remember. He said something about seeing her children in a ditch after they fought a war or something like that. I think I may have said something that she could be insulted by, Naruto said, amused. But you said that there was a couple on the Shinobi Council I have offended. Who else? Well, from what I heard, the head of the Aburame clan doesn't like how involved you are in Shinobi affairs, being a civilian. Tell me, Kakashi, how did you come across this information? Gossip circles, said Kakashi, as Naruto could see a smile under his mask. Gossip circles? Naruto asked. Shinobi gossip circles, said Kakashi. Naruto gave a sigh at Kakashi's stupid answer, but he wouldn't pry into his business. On to the more serious subject then. What happened for you to end up injured? Naruto asked. Knowing that the nuke name would return eventually, Kakashi would have to tell Naruto exactly what happened. Once we were halfway between the land of fire and the land of wave, we were ambushed. A group or by one person, Naruto asked. One person, said Kakashi. But you can never be sure Mercenary is working alone. But this one has been seen recently alone. You know who he is? Naruto asked. His name is Sugetsu, according to our recent bingo books. A former Kiri Shinobi that grants him the ability to turn into water, his bloodline. Originally from Kiri, he wanted to gain control over all the blades and master them along with his brother. But when one of the swordsmen didn't allow him to wield their sword, he became impatient and took it. He's been on the run ever since. Sugetsu surprised me when he first attacked. I was unprepared. He had the upper hand and used the water around him to amplify his power. I managed to take my client and Jenny to land. The fight then became slightly more even. But I was tired from creating clones to take the genin and the client. Sugetsu retreated when I hit him with the lightning technique that was extremely effective on him against his body because of his bloodline, but by that time I expended too much energy. I collapsed and my genins brought me back to the client's home. I awoke the next day, and after another day to regain my chakra, I sent out a message by my summon. What about the sword that he stole? Naruto asked. He never used a sword, whether our information was wrong. Because he didn't use it, perhaps he sold it. We have to be careful until certain. All of the sword that a swordsman used can cause damage. But we don't have to worry about Samihata. Its wielder hasn't been a part of Kiri for a while. There was several seconds of quiet as Naruto was thinking about the explanation, as he then finally spoke. While I came to protect Koji, it's not my job in the same sense while he was younger. That is now your job, said Naruto. I know what happened after Obito was unmasked. My son told you to focus on who Obito was, rather than who he became. And that might interfere with your work, but I'm trusting my son's judgment with you, Kakashi. That you will be able to protect Koji until he can protect himself. This mental damage you still held after your attempted suicide. As Kakashi winced at the words, if you can't get over it, whether you can forgive yourself for not finding Obito and change him, you must remove yourself from Koji, Jonin instructor. As Kakashi's lone eye widened at Naruto ultimatum, you have been given years, Naruto said, to get over your problems, and while I can understand these things will take years to overcome, I will not let your inability to move past this be the cause of Koji's death. I want to be able to leave Koji in your care and not wonder if something like this was going to happen again. If I would be forced to come and protect my grandson until an extraction team can come and retrieve them. If you can't move past this and put my fears to rest, then remove yourself from this duty, Naruto said. As Kakashi was silent when Naruto finished, not quite knowing what to say. There was always the fact that he could completely ignore Naruto, but Naruto was right. He hadn't been focusing recently. He rarely trained, and it was without the passion that had driven him in his younger years. After the years of the Kyuubi attack, he could found himself healing, and everything was starting to get back to normal. But all that progress was undone upon hearing the news that Obito had been alive for years. The wound that had been healing was split open yet again. As several months after the revolution, Kakashi tried to kill himself, but Minato, who had been watching for exactly that, was able to stop him and get him help. As he had woken up in the hospital bed, as he felt guilt and shame for what he had attempted to do. He had vowed years ago to not go out the way that his father did, but he tried to do it the same way. Years and many visits to a therapy, Kakashi's depression still didn't disappear completely. He still trained, and the drive that he used to have was gone, as he just spent most of the time staring at the grave of Obito Uchiha. Time skip. Kakashi was sleeping. Wake up, said a voice, as Kakashi slowly opened his eye. What's going on? He asked. We're surrounded. Seriously? By who? From what I can sense, mostly samurais and thugs. What about the others? Kakashi asked as he got out of bed. They're still asleep. As they rushed into the boys' room and quickly flipped the mattress, getting them up. As both boys were going to yell, enough, Kakashi said. Meet me downstairs, now. As he then went to Sakura's room and did the same thing. As he then went to his client's room and woke them gently. Sometime later, what's going on, Kakashi-sensei? Asked Sakura, as all of them were downstairs at the table. To put it bluntly, we're under attack, as Kakashi could sense multiple chakra signatures dashing into the forest. We are surrounded by mercenaries. Gato, said Tazuna, as Tsunami clutched her father's side in fear and worry, as she held on tight to Inari. Most likely, said Kakashi, as he knew that he was still not in 100% fighting shape. I should be able to dispatch the mercenaries, but the problem lay with Sugetsu. The shinobi that Gato hired? Asked Tazuna, as Kakashi nodded. Your house is right next to the sea. He will take advantage of that, but as long as I deal with the mercenaries that surrounded us, we can flee into the woods if Sugetsu arrive. But, said Tsunami, you defeated him earlier. Can't you do it again? If we were in further inland, but now he's near the sea, he can amplify his jutsu. That's a major advantage I'm not fully recovered yet. So we're fleeing, said Tazuna. I've lived here for 5 decades and now I have to run away? There is no point in trying to leave, said Inari. We won't make it far. Shut up, kid, you don't know anything, said Koji. Kakashi and JJ will kick their asses. Koji, that was incredibly rude, said Naruto, but he said Naruto interrupted him before he could finish. I don't care what he said, I care about what you said. You don't respond to opinions like that with insults. As Koji mumbled an apology. Tsunami then looked at Naruto. Are you a shinobi too? She asked. Please, if you can help us, she said. As Kakashi wanted to answer as well as he looked at Naruto. I need to know if you will help me, Naruto, he said. As Naruto looked at his grandson, as Koji was practically begging with his eyes for Naruto to help these people. Not helping would mean that Kakashi might die or get gravely wounded. And combined with the mercenaries and the missing in that attack before, it made Kakashi's chance of surviving very, very low. And the extraction team wouldn't be here, as the journey would take at least 3 days for a normal ninja even if they're pushing their speed. And this was just only the day after he received the message, seeing that it was currently late in the night right now, and early in the morning. Naruto knew that no help will come anytime soon. Fine, I will help you, Kakashi, said Naruto. As Kakashi let out a sigh of relief, as Koji smiled, as Sasuke just narrowed his eyes at Naruto, as Sakura was unsure why did they want Koji's grandfather's help. But you will handle the missing nin, said Naruto. You're the shinobi here, not me. That's only if he appeared though, said Kakashi. He's here, and he has brought some friends as well, said Naruto, as he could sense a large chakra signature near the ocean, and 2 others. Well, this spelled trouble, said Kakashi. More missing nins? This changes nothing. You will take care of the shinobi on the water, while I deal with the mercenaries. The other shinobis will most likely attack me, considering where they are. As Naruto moved towards the door and opened it as he exited the house. The moment he stepped outside, he saw flashes in the forest. It was a lot of them, but Naruto simply sighed, as this was nothing. But guys, we'll be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notifications to be posted. Remember, cheers to all of your friends and social media platform. But for now, I'm out of here, guys. Peace.